What's up, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Believe in Falcons. I am your host, Will McFadden, joined as always by former Falcons fullback Ovie Mughelli, and we are here to talk about the Falcons' 30-28 win against the Dolphins. Ovie, they got the win after the bye week, and they've evened things up at 3-3. How are you feeling about it?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good because I almost didn't feel good because I was so scared we were down. And I hate the here we go again moment because every week it's a here we go again moment that we're fighting not
You
to go
wanted the
through.
opposite. You
And
wanted the, hey,
yeah,
it's the fourth quarter, let me
oh,
take it easy moment.
I just wanted to relax and to eat
It's
my
not possible.
food, my wings, and have my little chips and dip, and not worry about like Falcons potentially grabbing defeat from the jaws of victory. I couldn't do that. I was couldn't go to the bathroom, couldn't leave the room. I had to watch the game just to make sure I saw exactly how this crumbled or didn't crumble. And Matty Ice, my boy Matthew, and Kyle Pitts. Woo, that felt good. It felt good just watching them come back and do something to show that it is a new era. It was good for the soul.
Yeah, they've made a habit of winning games late this season, which is a really good thing and a positive step in the right direction. But we are recording this on a Monday afternoon to take everybody behind the scenes a little bit, and you'll get it Tuesday morning. But the reason for that is because I was in Chicago celebrating my lovely wife's birthday, and I
Hey.
was following this game as much as I could on my phone and through ESPN Gamecast and also Twitter. So I was getting just tweet notifications of Falcons accounts
Oh,
that I
oh, no.
follow or
Oh,
reporters just freaking out, just be kind
yeah.
of, like game day Twitter lingo where it's not actually coherent sentences. It's just like, what with like five A's and four exclamation point. And it's like, I have no idea what this means. And then
Yep,
15 minutes later, you finally get the play update from ESPN.
yep.
So that's how my day was going. And I finally got a chance to rewatch it while waiting for our flight last night. And then I checked it out again today in preparation for this. I think there's a lot to dig into with this game. The most important thing is that they won and that they're 3-3. But because it's coming out a little bit later than we usually would do for our reaction podcast, I really want to delve more into what is this team? They are 3-3. They're definitely in the thick of it. I mean, they're now in third place in the NFC South with a chance over the next couple of weeks to really move into second place with a couple of wins here and kind of put themselves right into contention for a playoff spot. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but that is in play because of how this team has played.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I don't know if they've had a comfortable win yet, to your point,
No,
and it's
no.
it's not like they're playing the hardest of schedules. So there's definitely two sides of that coin, and that's what Ovie and I will really be talking about on today's episode. But first, before we get into that, let's hear from today's sponsor. All right, Ovie, let's start with the game. Again, a good win, a road win against a team that before the season had a lot of expectations on it. Where should we start? Let's start with Kyle Pitts. How about that? The Falcons drafted a stud.
A stud is and I know it's only like game 5, 6, wherever we're at now. And I know that we haven't played the greatest of the defenses out there, but he has shown us what is in store for Falcons fans, and this is what we've been wanting for the longest time. We've been begging for this, and like, was it a fluke when no one was there? We spoke about this. If Kyle Pitts can maintain what he did when Calvin really comes back and show that, hey, this is where I live. I live in this 100+ yard territory, game in, game out. I live in this making big plays on third down. I live in this goal line touchdown reliable machine. That's his new space, and I like it. I like that he likes it, even though he's giving us that Julio vibe where press conferences he's like, "I'm so excited and grateful.
I love
I'm
that
showing
he
no
puts
emotion."
he puts
He
the
looks like
glasses
he.
on.
Oh
It's
my
like
god, he
Clark
he
Kent
does
and
not
Superman.
care. Yeah, I get it. It's just like it's a day at work, so it's cool that Julio vibes where he's not getting hype. He's no Ocho
Yeah.
Cinco, no To for us, no Odell Beckham. We get Julio and Kyle where nothing is going to happen that you don't expect to happen. But For Kyle
Yeah.
Pitts to do what he did for this game was fantastic and a great sign for the Falcons in their rebuild-ish kind of year.
Yes, he caught 7 passes for 163 yards. Some of them incredible catches,
Yeah.
like his one-handed grab
Oh,
down the left sideline, which I talk about Twitter. Some people I think were really, really overselling that catch. I tweeted that out. Some people fought back at me. I mean, I get it, but it's like we've seen that catch before. It's not the greatest catch of all time. Really good catch. Great players, you expect them to make that catch. I expect
yeah.
Kyle Pitts to be a great player. That was an awesome play. Not, oh my God, Kyle Pitts is the greatest
Jesus.
athlete ever. Like that, we
See,
can we
tight
can
end
chill
Jesus.
sometimes. Like we not everything has to be the best or the worst ever in the history of anything.
On Twitter,
Anyway,
it
off my
does. Will,
on
on
Twitter it
Twitter, it does.
does.
You're forgetting
Yeah,
that.
on Twitter it does. But I'll get off my soapbox because my favorite part of the game actually came from that one-handed catch that we were just talking about. And
Mhm.
at that moment, it was just before halftime. The Dolphins had been driving down the field. It looked like they were going to score a touchdown, really cut into the momentum the Falcons had. And I believe at that point they would have taken back the lead. And Jalen Hawkins intercepts the pass in the end zone to completely shut Miami out.
Yep.
That was a huge point in the game. Very next play, 36 seconds left. Falcons have 2 timeouts. They're at their 20-yard line. Arthur Smith dials up a shot play to Kyle Pitts down the left sideline. Kyle Pitts comes up with that one-handed catch. They get pass interference, doesn't matter. He made the catch anyway. That play was, whether or not the Falcons succeeded there, depicted what the Falcons were going to do on that drive. That is a jumpstart the drive call, or we're folding it in and we're going to take it into halftime with a lead. We just got some momentum on defense, shut them out. Cool. You have to have a player that's capable of making just a one-on-one play when you throw a jump ball in order to even try something like that. And that is why I think the Falcons drafted him. I think they kind of understood where they were at with Julio. Julio's that type of player. I think we're seeing this season, maybe Calvin Ridley isn't, but having Kyle Pitts be in that position to go win just a one-on-one, man-on-man play and do it in spectacular fashion, and then allow the Falcons to start moving down the field in a 2-minute drill that ended in a field goal, which ended up being the difference in the game.
Yep.
That right there is all I needed to see from Kyle Pitts. I'm all in on him. I'm so excited that they have another kind of generational playmaker on offense.
Yes. You know, and I got to eat some crow here because it's one of those things when you want to go back and scrub your Twitter. Like, no, I'm not scrubbing it. I'm leaving it there. I make mistakes.
We're
I
human.
wanted
Yeah.
Justin Fields, not because I don't think Matt Ryan is, a
Yeah.
generational talent and a Hall of Fame
I did
quarterback.
too, for what it's
I
worth.
know he is, but I also know that Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, that worked. I think, I thought Justin Fields and Matt Ryan, that would work because given all our eggs for the Kyle Pitts thing, I just I felt like we were in a rebuild year and it wasn't a smart decision. But I was wrong. I was wrong, Falcons fans. I'll say it 10 times. I was wrong. Kyle Pitts is the real deal. You should have taken the best player on the board, and you did. And he's somebody that you can build around, especially, with the absence of Julio, you needed a Kyle Pitts. I don't know what I was thinking
Yeah.
because I thought Fields wasn't going to contribute anytime soon, but I thought that he was just so good in college. And not that Matt Ryan, I feel like, is losing a step, but eventually he will lose steps. And in 3 or 4 years, it would give us the option to have somebody step up. And Matt would probably slap me if he heard me even say this, but I thought that at some point we all get old, and that's something that
Yeah.
happened to him too. I was wrong.
I mean, he doesn't look it so far. He again played really, really well, I thought. And yeah, a lot of people are going to point to that fumble kind of late in the game that really gave the Dolphins a chance. That's not Matt's fault. Sure, you can tell him to tuck the ball, but like I know in that
That's
position,
football.
that's not necessarily what's kind of going through. He's trying to make a play. It's third down. I really don't think he felt anybody coming from his backside because it was, I believe, the right defensive end who really kind of like circled back. He overran Matt and circled back to kind of trail him. I just don't think Matt felt him, and I think he was trying to make a play. So I don't put that on him. But again, 2 touchdowns for the umpteenth week in a row, 336 yards. I mean, I think his decision making is as good as I've ever seen it. And I think that as you progress later in your career as a quarterback, like that becomes the most important skill set. You can start to play that quick
Yeah.
game. You can start to play the mind games of the defense and just know, okay, I have this half of the field shut. I know that I have these three options, and if I don't have it, just throw it away, live to play another down. Like as you get older at quarterback and everything slows down for you, your mind becomes your greatest weapon. And as we saw in the Russell Gage touchdown throw, dude
Yep.
can still sling it 55 yards if he
Oh,
needs to.
that made me feel good, and it made
Yeah, it did.
all the Matt Ryan haters feel so bad because they were like, "Matt Ryan doesn't have an arm. Matt Ryan can't throw. Matt Ryan can't do the deep ball." And then boom, Russell Gage was open and Matt got it there, on a rope. It was again, that's my guy. I'm obviously biased. I played 4 or 5 years with Matt and had a chance to watch him from a baby grow up into, the guy he is now, and I want him to win. And he
Yeah,
is
we all
showing
do.
us that if Tom Brady can do it, hey, why can't I? Not that
Yep.
he's Tom Brady, but as far as he can, I don't think he's on the downhill. I think he's still getting better because he's finding ways in his age and his experience and his wisdom, like you mentioned, a better decision maker. But it's some of the decisions that he doesn't make that really allows him to put us in a position to win. And I think the leadership skills and the intangibles are things that he's really uh, putting on display right now for a team that needs to find an identity, needs to find a culture, needs to bring a new type of feeling to the locker room. Matt's doing all that, So I'm really excited about what we got going on. I text some of the the guys on the staff that I still know to ask, like, how is it on the inside? They're like, man, it's a different feeling. Dan Quinn, love him. All the brotherhood stuff was great, but
Yeah.
this new feeling that we have in the locker room and with the team, it's the stuff that you win championships with.
That's honestly one of my biggest regrets about, when my time with Falcons ended when it did, is because I was so curious to kind of see what the feel in the building would be like under a new regime and under a
Yeah,
new just kind of the way the people run things. Like I remember over the years DQ and Thomas kind of installing different things within the building. I remember they kind of put in some balls so that you would punch out to really enforce stripping the football and creating turnovers, and just like the little tiny nuances, that the way you get your messaging across and what you allow in the lunchroom versus what you don't, or all the little rules. I really wanted to kind of see what another staff would bring to the table in terms of that. Alas, I didn't get a chance to
relax.
see that, but I agree. From those that I've still talked to, it is different, but it appears to be working on the field. But you spent way more time around Matt Ryan than I ever did. I was fortunate enough to get to talk to him the few times that I did, both professionally and just kind of around the building. I don't think he's perpetually underrated for the intensity, competitiveness, intelligence, professionalism that he brings to this position.
Yeah.
He is absolutely, people debate the tiers of quarterbacks. Matt Ryan is on the elite of the elite tier with Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Russell Wilson, what have you, any of those quarterbacks who are extra prepared going into a game and can know everything a defense is throwing at them. I truly believe that Matt Ryan is up there from having seen it up close for several years, and just from watching him throughout his career. I have no doubt that he's going to really play well, I think, this season and beyond. But it was great to see him throw that deep pass. Obviously, he connected with Russell Gage, who has returned to the lineup, had that big play for the Falcons. I thought that was huge. Once again, just having more options to really unlock and exploit what a defense brings to the table. His counterpart, Calvin Ridley, also caught a touchdown pass, but it did come out in the week leading up to the game that he missed the Jets game. Ian Rappaport reported on Sunday that the Falcons, I guess, allowed him to miss the Jets game and a portion of the week prior due to mental health reasons. So everybody, I think, wants to respect that. If the team was willing to respect Calvin's request, I feel like then we should as well. But missing a game, that's tough. He did bounce back. He caught that touchdown pass, but I don't think it was the game a lot of people really expected from Calvin, and we've yet to get that number one receiver type game from Calvin Ridley, although we've gotten two now from Kyle Pitts. So kind of what do you think now about Atlanta's kind of pecking order in terms of playmaker, and what do you think about the report from Rappaport on Sunday about the mental health reasons? How would you feel as a member of the locker room about that?
I feel a kind of way, but to answer your first question, the pecking order now it's changed. There's been a shift, and Kyle Pitts, at least in the last two games, one Calvin really what wasn't a part of, and one he was still trying to find himself. It still hasn't really found his true self because I don't think we've seen peak Calvin Ridley. We saw him better when Julio was here. He was better as a
Hmm.
number two than he's showing us now as a number one, which is the problem. And Kyle Pitts is Matt Ryan's go-to, even when Calvin's back in the game. But Calvin, and we got to be careful here because you can't tell the truth sometimes. But football is crass, and football is sometimes really blunt, and football is a game where people don't care about your feelings. And with his mental health break, I'm glad that now football has evolved into a place to where we care about that. But there are players on that team. And I know back in the day when I played 2003 to 2012, if I told somebody that I couldn't play a game, and I was the only fullback. We when I got to the Falcons in my last year with the Ravens, we only dressed one fullback. If I told them, on a Friday or Saturday for the game that I can't play because I need a mental health day, they would not only laugh me out the room, laugh me out the stadium, laugh me out the facility, but laugh me on out the team. They would do all that quickly because just like when you're injured and you have a slight ankle sprain or you have your elbow hurts or you got a
Hmm.
sore back or whatever it is, and you don't find a way to fight through that to be there for your team, guys start calling you soft. Whether
Yeah.
it's true or not, whether they know exactly what you're going through, you can't be a little bit pregnant. You can't, kind of win or kind of lose. You win or you lose. You're on the field, or you're not. The best ability is availability, and so it's a unique thing because I know the Falcons tight end Hayden Hurst, he's big on mental health, and I actually
Yep. Yep.
I loved his story. I appreciate some of the stuff that he's done. So I'm not surprised that the Falcons took that seriously, and I applaud them for allowing him to take time for himself and handle what he's doing. I'm just giving people the opposite point of view of there are not one or two, but there are multiple players there who still have that old school mindset that are
Yeah.
saying, I bet if I had a mental health day, they wouldn't let me do it. I bet if I had a mental health day, they wouldn't treat me like Calvin Ridley. And they're right. Because he is who he is, he probably got, some select treatment. If there's a specialties player said, hey, I have a mental health day, I can't go. They're like, all right, good. Well, take some time off and don't come back. And that's the
Yeah.
reality of the whole thing because
Unfortunately, yeah.
you have to be able to play through things, physically or mentally. Thank God, we didn't need Calvin in order to win that game. But there are situations where I was definitely depressed during my rookie year. I was getting beat up by Ray Lewis and Peter Boulware and Bart Scott and Delius Thomas and Ed Hartwell and we had Dion
Felt like a
Embry,
walk on
Chris
at that point.
McAllister. It was oh my gosh, my body hurts even thinking about it. I would did I cry? No, I didn't cry, but tears went down my eyes sometimes because I just felt like I couldn't get it
That
right.
that's
And it
crying.
was
That's what crying is,
it-
Ovi.
yeah, 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 true. This is true. But if I would have said in my rookie season, Coach, I need a mental health day. I think the laughter that would they was like, get this. Ovi wants a mental health day because he's depressed or going through anxiety or panic attacks. And guys around the league do that. So again, this isn't a bash Calvin Ridley and his decision. This is just saying that the NFL has come a long way from to where this wouldn't even be considered a decade ago to where now he has the luxury of doing this and the extra luxury of being an elite player to where not that they take this seriously, but that where he's allowed the opportunity to do that. So, hats off to the organization. I'm happy for him and hope that he gets through what he's going through. And I'm glad that he was honest because, frankly, him doing this could get somebody else to be open and honest with their situation that can prevent something bad from happening. So I'm glad that he did that, but he still needs to find a way to get back and be elite because at the end of the day, the league cares about production.
Yes, yes, it does, and there's a lot there. I do think that hopefully it does allow other players maybe to feel like they can step up and say things if they need to. You know, we saw Carl Nassib come out as kind of the first openly gay player to play in the NFL currently. He's really killing it for the Raiders so far this season. I mean, the more players kind of start to normalize, I think, what are larger social issues, the more we will see things, I think, pivot in a new direction for the NFL. I don't know if I would use the word luxury to kind of. I get what you're saying. Whereas he felt like he was able to come out and express himself, but if somebody's dealing with a real mental health issue, I'm sure that that's really can be scary for that individual. And I feel bad because. I don't feel bad because a part of our job is to be objective and to call things out. And Calvin Ridley's being paid to be a professional NFL player. He's paid to produce. If he's not producing, we are obligated to say so. I mean, that's why you guys are here listening to us. But for any role that I have played in kind of adding to that mental pressure or whatever, I feel bad about that. But the big thing I think with that we're learning as a society is really just the science on the brain, on mental health, on memory, on just everything kind of involved in our heads is a lot further behind than a lot of other science. I mean, and
Hmm.
it's another thing too to see somebody's ankle sideways or their knee
Yeah,
completely out of place. You
that's a
can
good point.
see that happen and you understand that pain. You can kind of empathize with it when somebody like this, Ovi, if a dude has kind of like a hamstring issue at kind of like maybe the worst part of conditioning or just a nagging thing that he keeps kind of saying is flaring up at convenient times, you're going to start looking at that dude
Yep.
sideways. Like, come on, man, really? Like right now is when the hamstring
Yeah.
acted up.
You're good for the games, but practice you can't go. All right.
Exactly, but it's he can get away with it because you can't see it, and I think that there's a little bit of that going on here, where unless you are Calvin Ridley or unless you are somebody dealing with a mental health situation, you don't necessarily know what that feels like. I've been fortunate enough to never have to deal with that, so I can't really put myself in his shoes. You just kind of have to act on good faith that that's what it was. I worry that maybe worst case scenario, there are situations where that gets taken advantage of, but we're a long way away from that. And I think it's best to operate in good faith for the sake of any individual's health. Let's get back to football, though. How about that? So
Yeah.
let's switch over to the defensive side. We just kind of talked
Ooh.
about offense. I think Deion Jones and Foye Oluokun are really, really kind of coming into their own. They are both in the top 11 in tackles in the NFL, despite playing one less game than a lot of the players ahead of them and around them on that list. What did you see from the defense? Shaky, I think, from the defensive line. Secondary's banged up, but overall, what was your evaluation of their performance?
I was a little bit disappointed in that I thought that we were starting to come on when it comes to the pass rush. I'm seeing, ooh, like some guys, some
Mhm.
flashes, some guys not named Dante Fowler or getting to the quarterback. I'm like, we got something, and Dean Pease is dialing things up that's making us unpredictable. But against the Dolphins, let's see, they were gave up the ninth most sacks this season to opposing teams,
Yep.
and the Falcons couldn't take advantage of that. I just feel like they're a team that was vulnerable, and we were primed and ready to do something big, and we couldn't really get through it. And Fourier and Dion, they flew around like, as always. Now again, I think Dion got his ankles broke by Tua one time. Uh, uh, it was ugly, but those things happen. I just want our defense to not give quarterbacks all day to throw the ball, and that's going to
Yeah.
hurt us when we play quarterbacks that have more skill than Tua. And Tua's good. He exposed us and was going through our defense. Even though AJ Terrell, him being back is great for us because he's one of the best DBs I think in the league right now. But I just feel like our defense is still holding us back from us truly being a playoff caliber team. I'm not even talking about Super Bowl or championship. I just want to be playoff caliber. If we sneak into the playoffs this year, I'm excited. That's not going to happen unless our defense gets better.
Ovi, you know what I'm going to get you for Christmas?
What?
I'm going to go back throughout Atlanta radio history
Give me a
and
pass
find
rush.
every clip of somebody saying X bad quarterback is good the week after they play the Falcons as a
I know,
justification
right?
for why the Falcons lost. Tua
Oh,
Tagovailoa is fine. He's fine. We don't know if he's good yet. We don't know if he's bad yet. He's at this point just kind of an average Mendoza line of a quarterback. He can have good games. He can have bad games. Quarterbacks like that always have a good game against the Falcons. And I think that I really liked, so Deion Jones responsible for the one sack. I think we saw Dean Pease say coming out of the bye week in the week leading up to the Dolphins game that they did have to scale back the defensive playbook a little bit because they had to install a lot of it from scratch for this defense. I take it as a good sign, and a little bit of a sign that maybe Dion, the leader of your defense, is picking up on this scheme faster than maybe others, which is why I think we're seeing him utilize Deion Jones in more variety of ways than some of the other players on this defense. I think we're seeing Richie Grant kind of be used in
Yep.
some interesting ways as well. Maybe not as effectively, but I think that's at least promising that he's starting to get more involved. But I completely agree with you. You got to get some pressure on the opposing quarterback. And the thing that I noticed in watching this game, because they let the lead slip away in that fourth
Yeah.
quarter, they totally
Yeah.
did. That's on the defense. What's weird about offense and defense, right, is the matter of urgency. You have no choice but to be urgent on offense when the
Yeah.
situation calls for it. When you're down 3 with a minute 15 left on the clock at your 20-yard line, you cannot afford to do anything but play like your hair is on fire. It's the exact opposite for defense.
Get
You're
off the
up 20
field.
to 20 to
Yeah.
13. You're kind of like, "Hey, I'm good." You're up 2 touchdowns. You can
Yeah.
kind of say just don't let them score a touchdown, but we can give
Coast.
up yards.
Just
The
coast and bend and don't break. But the urgency that other
Yes.
defenses had, where they're like, get off the field. The field is hot. Get off
Yeah.
the field. We want to get off
That's
3 and
the
out, 6 and out. Let's get off the gosh darn field.
Yep.
That urgency doesn't seem to quite be there. I mean, Miles Gaskins, he's not even. I didn't know who he was. I had Miles Gaskin. I heard something about he hasn't been doing as well as the Dolphins wanted, and their run game wasn't where it needed to be. He was out there running the ball. He was out there, knifing through our defense and getting yards and falling forward and having positive gains. I'm like, wait. Emmitt Smith? Who is this? Barry Sanders? Who is this guy? Just like we make
Yeah.
quarterbacks look good, we make running backs at times look good, and they're not anything special the rest of the time. But against us, we got stat lines for Miles Gaskin and showing off the fact that we can't stop the people we need to stop. And so again, it's not a bash the Falcons defense session, but it's a demanding better and continual growth from a team that or a side of the ball defense that has potential, because we've seen them do some really impressive things against the Giants and against other teams. And again, I know these aren't world beaters, but we make them world beaters when we play them. I want to, just like we saw with the offense, it wasn't pretty at times, but it was progress. And it showed us moving in the right direction when it comes to finding ways to build on our small successes. Before you know, building on small successes gets us to the third, fourth quarter of the season, and we're humming. Like we're coming to our own. They're Seahawks teams and Packers teams that
Yeah.
look trash or look average as hell beginning of the season. And then playoff time, it's like you always know they're going to be hitting on all cylinders. They're going to be,
Yep.
together, clicking, and dangerous. I see no reason why we can't, especially I tweeted about this, the Braves. They were below 500 the most of the
Yeah.
season. They
Dude,
weren't a team
the Hawks
that
before
no one
them.
thought. Yeah, the Hawks
This
were
is the
so
season of the Atlanta
average.
average team becoming
Average
great.
teams in Atlanta have shown they can get into championship situations. So why not us? Why not now? But it ain't going to happen this week or next week if we don't keep on putting small wins and stacking on top of it. Don't forget what you did last week and the week before that. Build on top of that. So I need the defense especially to do that. And because Deion Jones and Foyer, they're the heartbeat of our defense. Literally, they're right there in the middle. They're that heartbeat. They're making the phone calls. They're making the calls, and they're getting everyone lined up, and they're giving the intensity, the passion, the grit. They're showing people this is how we're going to play, and I need them to continue to step it up. Again, they're the best we have on defense, but I need them to do some Pro Bowl type stuff. Like show me against some better offenses that you're shutting people down, that you're snagging more interceptions, that you're getting these sacks, that you're getting guys lined up, that you're making the right audibles, and that we're putting our offense in a great spot because shoot, this defense is now the leader of the team, which probably never happened with Matt Ryan here, but push for that. I want to see that happen with our defense.
Yeah, I mean that's what it takes for this team, I think, really to become more than average. Is the other side of the ball starts to become a true asset instead
Interesting.
of becoming more of a liability. But yeah, I mean, you're right. Hawks fired their coach mid-season, turned around, went to
Yes,
the NBA Eastern Conference Finals. Braves
I
are in the
forgot they
World
fired their coach.
Series.
I forgot that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, man, Lloyd Pierce just gone. Nate McMillan put in.
Oh,
They go on a run. I mean, it's the Atlanta this year in sports has been like a girl you like in senior year goes to college, comes back after a freshman year of college in the summer, and you got to like roll the window down as you're driving by and take a second look. Like
ma'am,
that's what it's
excuse
got
me,
to
ma'am,
be.
please marry
That's
me.
excuse me. What
Miss.
what's up?
Miss.
Yeah, no, I mean that's what we've got to see from the Falcons, and if there's any year to do it, it's this year. But
Yes. No
so
one
far, I
expects
mean,
anything from us. We have
no,
0 expectations. A little expectations, but very little expectation because this is a rebuilding year for the
right?
majority of Falcons fans. So if we sneak into the playoffs, and once we're there, like, hey, footloose, fancy free, just sling the ball, run the ball, call trick
Yeah.
plays. We might win the first game. We might win the next game. Shoot, we might be a game away from the Super Bowl. We might sneak in like the Braves. Why not us? Why
Well,
not?
let me give you a reason why, Ovi,
Okay.
as I love to do.
There are several reasons
Um,
why.
so Falcons are 3-3. All three of their wins have come by a combined 12 points, and against teams who are combined 4-16 this season.
Jesus.
So
Wow.
close wins against bad teams. Not exactly the recipe that one looks for when kind of projecting out a potential playoff team, but you could make the argument that they had a lot of self-inflicted wounds in at least two of those games. I mean, you had the Jets game they ended up winning, but still had some fumbles there in the second half and almost let that slip away. And then last week, I mean, some mistakes and didn't get everything perfectly, but still ended up winning. I mean, so they're finding ways to win games late, which is certainly a big recipe for starting to find a run. I mean, building wins, as you said, stacking momentum buys you that time to get things
Mhm.
figured out. Like the worst place is to be is when you're Dan Campbell and the Lions. And it's kind of like you're so close, but you keep losing. And
Oof.
so the
Oof.
clock then starts ticking. If you're
Oh,
winning and it's close, you've got way more flexibility. You've got more buy-in. The fan base is willing to wait and see. They sit here like Ovie and start talking themselves into being one game away from the Super Bowl. So
yeah.
there are reasons to be
Yes.
excited, but maybe we should tamp the brakes a little bit. Where is this team?
No, you tamp the brakes. You can temper things. I'm not tempering things. I'm gonna stay excited because guess what? A win is a gosh darn win. And as a player, I don't care in week 12 if week three's loss was by 50 points or 5 points. It's still a win. And right now, we need to put ourselves into wild card. Yeah, I'm already talking about the wild card. Into wild card playoff position, and these wins count because I don't think
They do. They
that
do.
this is college football. This is the NFL football. The style of play, the way we won, how we won it doesn't matter at
It's a great
all.
point.
And
Great
and
point.
so I think that if we can just keep on sneaking by again for the psyche and for the soul and for the fan named Ovie, big blowout wins gives me peace and happiness and joy. But have you been watching the Falcons the last couple of years? A win, an ugly win, a nasty, gritty, grimy, shouldn't have won, but we won win is something that the Falcons fans should celebrate because this doesn't happen often. I saw it. It flashed by my eyes on a screen like the last time the Falcons were even 500 was years ago, years, I believe. But I don't think it's been a
Like
while.
through 6 games or something.
Yeah. The fact,
Yeah.
being 500 through 6 games, it's been a long, long, long
Probably
time.
2017, 2016.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we're owing this and owing that and owing a whole lot of losses. So I'm taking solace in this. I am, definitely going to pick apart the offense and the defense, and not Kyle Pitts. Like, not picking him apart. He's good.
Yeah,
You say
leave
that
him
you're
alone.
good. Yeah, he
Put him
gets
over
this.
here.
Yep. Kyle Pitts can sit over there and be happy. Now the rest of the team, let's talk to y'all and figure out what the heck's going on. Yeah, even Matt Ryan fumbling the ball for no right reason. If this was a good team, we would have lost that. How would he feel going to the locker room and losing because he wants to try and be whoever. I was gonna say Michael Vick, but it was poor taste because people don't like to compare those people. But Matt Ryan doesn't have wheels, he doesn't have legs, and whenever he tries to run, bad things happen. But still, we have a lot of room to grow and a lot of time to grow with that. I think the Saints are beatable. Jameis has
Yeah,
shown that first 5 touchdown game was not going to be consistent Jameis. Like, Jameis is still Jameis. He'll give the ball away. The Saints don't have it all together. The Panthers, surprisingly, I thought they were going to, run through everything. They don't
I
have their
did
stuff
too.
together. They they,
They were
they
my
started
pick.
what 3-0, right? They started like,
Yeah,
came out the barn just taking names and kicking butt. And now the Panthers and the Saints are beatable. The Tampa Bay is Tampa Bay, but we
absolutely.
can be number 2 in this division. And that's a possibility I didn't think when we were losing games against the Eagles early on in the season. So I'm excited. I'm in a good mood. I think that we have some good things that are going to be ahead of us. Hopefully, the Falcons will maybe eat these words like they have in the past. But imagine if we won against the Washington football team. Imagine if we won that game. Imagine, how people would
That'd
be
be
losing
big.
their shit
Yep.
right now. They'd be like, you know what? Forget playoffs. Super Bowl. Super Bowl
Yeah.
Falcons. Going
Yeah.
to the Super Bowl. Kyle Pitts, new Julio times T.O. times Ocho C. Like, we'd be on cloud nine. And we're still pretty happy because a lot of Falcons fans, including me, look at that as a win. Like, we could have won that. We should have won that. I know we didn't win that. You are your record. But, like, for all intents and purposes, we played well enough to win the
Yep.
Washington game. And so, we're in
It's
a
a
good spot,
spiritual four
man.
and two, man. That's what I
Yeah,
that's
there
what
you
I
go.
said last week.
Yep.
Felt like a
I'm with it.
spiritual 3-2. It's a spiritual 4-2 now, even though we're at 3-3.
I am
But
with it.
I do really think there's a path here to win these next 2 games, which is again reason to be optimistic because there's a huge difference between losing games you should win and winning games that you feel like you could have lost. And this just the change in the psyche, the change
Yeah.
you in your approach is very different. And all you have to do is kind of just keep plugging along and keep doing the little things. And eventually those close wins, one turns into a blowout. Then you start stringing on a couple that are by 10 points. And then, these field goal or 2-point wins are now touchdown wins, which is really hard in the NFL, like to get to that level consistently. But the Falcons are at least on the right side of that coin. And like you said, I
Yeah.
mean, Panthers have now lost 4 in a row. They benched Sam Darnold last week. And so
That's
that,
crazy.
yeah, you're getting another team that's
Oh,
coming off of a week with somewhat of a quarterback controversy. I mean, I know that didn't seem to affect Tua too much in the game, but
nope.
maybe it'll affect Sam Darnold differently. Who knows? And then the next week, if the biggest reason I'm giving the Falcons the edge, well, really it's 2 reasons against the Saints. One, Kyle Pitts. They'll have never seen Kyle Pitts before. Just a different
Mm,
animal. How do you cover him? Calvin Ridley also has a history of just roasting the Saints as well. So you got to look out for that. But then Terry Fontenot, dude, responsible for bringing a lot of those players, veteran guys on that defense to New Orleans. You think he doesn't
yeah.
know what their strengths and weaknesses are? I
I
mean,
forgot about
he's going
that.
to be able to
Yeah.
sit there and get with Arthur Smith and say, all right, here are the 5 things Demario Davis is below average at. Like, go make him do
Yes.
this. He doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to do it. So
And we know
I
that type of stuff. Like not
yeah,
only does Terry Fontenot, but the players and stuff. Like, I remember when I went from the Ravens to the Falcons, and I had to play the Ravens and all the big scary guys. The Ray Lewis, Peter Boyer had retired, but it was
yeah,
Ray, Bart Scott. I think Ed Hartwell may have still be on the team, but Ray and Bart Scott and Terrell Suggs. Those guys, I knew them inside and out. I knew they would say, "Hey, Obi, don't be getting low or don't hit me on that right side. You know I'm not good on my right side."
yeah.
So I played them. I knew all their stuff, but they knew some of my stuff too. I wasn't. as much of an open book, but they like to talk a lot, and they had more, film time or game time, so they had more film to look at, and it was just so much fun to fully take advantage of, don't cut me. I hate when you cut me. I was cutting them like crazy. I,
That has to be the
kick
number
high,
one
hit them
thing.
low. Oh, it was
Just
it was
don't
great.
don't knock me down and make me have to get up after every single play and chase a tackle.
It's the
Like that
worst.
would be
Defensive
just
guys
up
hate
downs.
that stuff. I think
Yeah.
they curb that a little bit with a couple of rules now, where offensive linemen can't cut as much. But back in the day, like these small things that you know about the opposing team, they help you win games. And Terry Faulkner, like you mentioned, knows several small things about several players that will give us a slight edge, as it may, but still an edge. And as you've seen these games, they come down to the wire. They come down to small little things, little plays, details that determine whether you win or lose or you lose. So I think that we're in a good position. But man, we beat the Dolphins. It wasn't pretty, but we beat the Dolphins. That I just feel so good about that. I was, like I said, I was
Yeah.
watching to the last second, as I told you in the beginning, and I was not sure we would come back. Kyle Pitts caught some huge throws at the for that last drive. Some huge throws in the corner and got out of bounds. Like he's playing like a vet, playing like a grown man. All the times we were yelling at him, "Hey, we drafted you number 4 overall. Hey, you're the highest pick tight end in NFL history. Hey, you got to do it now. I know
Yeah.
you're trying to ease into things and you're a rookie, but don't be a rookie this year. Be a rookie later." He
Well, but
heard it.
that's the exciting part, right? Is like he's already doing this now
Yep.
and his head has got to be swimming. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
like you're learning new every so like installs each week. By the time you're in your third, fourth year, I mean second year probably as well. You're just kind of like, yep, I got this play. Like I know we haven't practiced in a while, but like I remember this from this specific
Mhm.
game or this time we used it. Each install for him, there's probably a handful of plays or wrinkles that he's never seen before. And then he takes that out on the field and he has to practice it for the first time and kind of like learn the little nuances. You're sitting here saying, hey, I knew if I hit Ray Lewis, which is the coolest sentence I think I've ever said to another human being who's actually had that thought. I knew if I hit Ray Lewis, on his left
Yeah.
hip, that was where he had that surgery a couple of years ago, and it might
Yep.
just hurt him a little bit more. That you got to build a Rolodex in your brain for that to be the case, and that takes time. And for Kyle Pitts to just be doing this now, he hit 163 yards.
That's crazy, dude.
That's crazy in his
We were
sixth
excited
game
when he had
ever.
112. We had 100 and something the
Yeah,
last game. We were all, Kyle Pitts is the greatest. Oh.
yeah.
And now he's just being silly. Now he's just showing off. This is too much, Kyle. We get it. You're
So
just showing off.
that's
Ridiculous.
the number one reason to believe why the Falcons really can be even more than what they've been so far. Because I mean, to my point is like if he's only going to continue to learn and grow and get more comfortable,
Right.
we have no idea where his ceiling is. That's not to
No.
say that it's nowhere because nobody's is nowhere. But I mean, he really could be a truly exceptional talent, which is exciting. But if we're going to give credit to anybody, and I apologize that it's even taken us this long to mention him for the Falcons 3-3 record so far, it's got to be Younghoe Koo. I mean, I know I know that people love to hate on kickers, love to hate on punters, special teams for reasons that I completely understand. I get it. But when your guy is actually like bankable 100%, which has been what Young Koo has been so far this season, is perfect. He's
Yeah.
an asset. It's kind of like a kicker's either a vulnerability who you hate and don't trust, or the greatest asset that you can have on your team because the Falcons have quite frankly won two of their three games because of Young Koo.
Jeez.
And so we just got to
Oh,
give him a little bit of love.
oh, you got to give him a lot of bit of love. He's so cool, Young way cool. He's somebody who I did not think. And not that we've forgotten about him, but I did not think we'd be able to move past Matt Bryant. Money Matt was the kicker
Right?
the majority of the
Yeah.
time I was there. And Money Matt Bryant was so money. He was just, gruff and grim and had a little dry humor around us
Fishing
all. But,
guy. Big fishing
always a
guy.
nice guy. He had like a million kids. His
Yeah.
wife was the sweetest. Like with,
He
yeah.
does.
But Money Matt Bryant was also automatic, but he doesn't have the range Young Wei Koo does. And the Falcons are always looking to go cheaper and younger. And I was like, yeah, but Don't do that at the kicker. Old kickers and the Morton Anderson of the world, they're
Hmm.
fine because they can still kick and
Yeah,
distance. Who cares about that? Let's just make sure he makes it. 40 and below. Younghoe Koo has been so good to where people haven't missed Matt Bryant, who was an amazing, amazing
I
kicker for
know.
us,
Yeah,
and he's given us the ability to do Matt Bryant stuff a little bit farther out and still be confident that 48, no problem. 52, we got it. 54, well, let's line up. So that's a kicker that the Falcons are lucky to have. There are teams who don't have that confidence in their kicker and have missed kicks and have lost games. And as a player who's not a kicker, having the kicker lose the game for you is the most frustrating thing because you can't do anything about it. Like
yeah,
you have to
yeah,
sit there and just watch and kneel with your helmet or hold somebody's hand that you
yep.
don't want to hold and just pray that the kicker doesn't just erase
Yeah,
quarters and quarters, minutes and minutes of you fighting, clawing, hitting, bleeding,
yeah.
just
You
giving your
broke your
all.
finger, and
Yes,
yep,
just for the kicker to be like, "Whoops, I missed it wide left," or "Whoops, missed it wide right," or "I missed." Like
that
you
was
don't
a spot on Matt Bryan impression.
get, you don't get to do that
I'm
as
just
the
kidding,
kickers. You
everybody.
don't get to mess up a game where players bled and gave all this effort to like you. Your effort is just a kick, and that's your effort. And yes, it is very unique and it's very intricate and takes a lot of skill. I recognize that, but as far as just the physicality of what you do and the physicality of what everyone else has done, you got to get that job done. You got to make that kick. And Younghoe Koo is making those kicks, so I'm happy for him.
Yeah, but Younghoe Koo, man, he's a badass MFer as well, dude.
Oh yeah,
He's going down on kickoffs, making tackles, just
yeah.
banging some onside kicks like nobody's business. So, and
Unlimited.
also Squid Game kind of hammered this home for me because uh, DQ, Dan Quinn, and a lot of the coaches that I would talk to and players would always refer to Younghoe Koo as Koo Younghoe. And the first couple of times I
Really?
heard it, I was like, does DQ not know his name, or
How
it just kind of
does he not
it,
know who's
it
on the
like struck
team?
yeah, it just struck me the wrong way because I was like, I looked at the roster, I'm like, no, it's Younghoe Koo. But watching Squid Game, I realized that Korean, you say the family name, the last name first, and then the first name
Ah.
comes second, and it's hyphenated. So I believe, I don't know this for sure, but I
Oh.
believe in Korean, his name would be Koo and then Young dash Wei. So I
That
think that's
is interesting.
that's kind of cool, right? So in
Yeah,
America, in
yeah, very
English, it's
cool.
Young Wei Koo, but yeah. So there you know.
Koo Younghoe. Leave it to Squid Game to teach you something about your football players.
Yeah, come for the battle royale and stay for the that English lesson.
Absolutely.
All right, Ovi.
Absolutely.
So the Saints will be playing tonight. We're about to hop off and go watch them. They're taking on the Seattle Seahawks. If the Saints lose, they will drop to 3-3 with the same record as the Falcons. I believe right now they kind of hold the tiebreaker. None of that matters. It just means the Falcons are completely in play for the division. It's wide open at this point. Now, obviously, Tampa is kind of running away with a lot of things, and their schedule doesn't really get any harder. So it looks like they're just going to
No,
steamroll
it
to the
doesn't.
division like everybody
Yeah.
expected. But getting some wins against the Panthers and the Saints, who one of those two teams you have to believe are at least going to be in the mix kind of come the end of the year, getting a win early on them and getting a leg up in those
Oh,
tiebreaker scenarios is massive. So I
it's
think the
huge.
next two games are huge. We'll talk a lot more specifically about the Falcons Panthers game on our Friday podcast.
Yep.
But do you have any thoughts just before we get out of here about where the Falcons are, where they could go, and what you expect them to do?
I'm just glad Run CMC that he's not going to terrorize us like he has in the past. I just thank the Lord above that we don't have to see that man. He is so good, so
Yeah.
very good. No, I think we have a chance, and that's the exciting thing. After the first couple games, I didn't think we had a chance against these teams because they were, wow, just take it off. So all I got to say is that the Falcons are not dead yet. We
Yeah.
have a heartbeat. We have a flame that's not gone out. We have something special that's in this city that's swirled around these sports teams that might just take a small trip down the Flowery Branch and reside amongst the team known as the Atlanta Falcons. So I hope all those chop on Braves and those Atlanta Hawks and all the great mojo that's going around the city can end up in the Falcons locker room, because it would be really exciting to have something magical occur this season. And I know I don't say we don't deserve it, but I know it's not something that logically should happen. But why not us? And why not now, William? I'll keep on saying it.
I think you said it best when you said we're a Washington loss away from a winning. Oh my god, I'm going to delete that part.
Yep.
We're a Washington loss away from having won 4 straight.
Yep.
And I mean, if that had happened, the Falcons would be right there being talked about as one of the hottest teams. I
Yep.
think that they could have very well won that Washington game. It doesn't mean that they are one of the hottest teams. It doesn't mean that they're not. All it means is that they're finding ways to win games, which this time last year is all we could have actually hoped for. And that's progress, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you all for listening. Today's episode was presented by Bet Online. Please like, subscribe, rate, and review. Let your friends know. Let them know where they can hear us, which is anywhere they get their podcasts, and they can hear Ovie's great insights into what it's like to be a player in the NFL. What makes a team really think that it could be the year, and what gets them to check out. And you can hear me ask him the questions that bring him those insightful answers. So
Which is very
uh,
riveting.
there you go. So let everybody know. Thank you guys so much. Falcons won again. They're 3-3. This is a great time. Go Braves. Go
Go
Braves.
Braves. Let's win a World Series. Let's
Yeah.
get some parades and floats. And I know a couple Braves players. I'm going to give them a phone call. Hey, show me some game love, and let's go hang out and grab a beer or two to celebrate. It'd be amazing. We won a World Series here. It'd be
Yeah,
just
dude. Let's do
a
it.
constant party all the way to the Falcons Super Bowl. Why not?
If they win, so what you're saying is that you can get Freddie Freeman to come on the podcast after they
Oh,
win. That's
easily.
what you're saying? All right,
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely. I got Freddie's cell. I'll give him a
We'll set
call.
up in the locker room right after game 4 when they sweep
Yes.
them. We'll set up there, and then we'll get the guys to come by. It'll be like a car wash radio situation. So,
Sounds good.
all right, that's it for us, everybody. As always, take care.